Hey folks, Eric here, the Whatever Guy, because it really is whatever for me. And do you folks want to know how the search term for Delta-8 THC is twice as high in states without legalized marijuana? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know, man, my name is Eric. I'm the Whatever Guy, and I usually shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world of Delta-8, Delta-9, Delta-10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. But today, man, we're sitting here looking at a study over here at Marijuana Moment. They have actually put out a study that basically says that Delta-8 THC, the searches for Delta-8 THC are twice as high in states without legalized marijuana. And that's a crazy comment, a crazy study for them to make, especially when they come out of Marijuana Moment and put stuff out there like that. When we're moving forward with the arguments between the big cannabis and all the Delta-8 producers in the United States. And for those of you that don't know, I work for a company called Boro Hemp. Now, we applied for medical marijuana license in the state of Alabama, but we provide CBD products, Delta-8 products, Delta-9 products, and stuff like that in the hemp space across the nation. We provide it for probably about 650 different brands. And obviously, that is what basically got me in the game. For those of you who don't know, I was the one that was riding around with a minor amount of marijuana in my truck probably 4 or 5 years ago. Basically got pulled over by a cop here in Milton, Florida. They made a big deal out of it. I mean, it was a super small amount. They made a big deal out of it, took me to jail, obviously, towed my truck and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really, up to that point, I never really thought that marijuana was that big of a deal. It was something that I was doing on a daily basis. And at that point, after this, they put this patch on me and all that, and I had to find an alternative method or a way to deal with my PTSD. And so I ended up floating over to Delta-8 THC. And obviously, at this point in the game, I've dropped my handyman business, and this is where I'm at. I found the goal to my to solving my PTSD, my anxiety issues. I'm the dude that is riding from Monroeville, Florida down to Milton, Florida, or excuse me, from Monroeville, Alabama down to Milton, Florida. And if I see a blue truck behind me and I get to Milton, Florida, and that same kind of blue truck is behind me, I'm the dude that thinks that truck followed me all the way from Monroeville, Alabama to Milton, Florida. That's the kind of stuff that I try to cure with these Delta-8 products and stuff like that. But having said that, I find it interesting that they said that the search term is nearly twice as high in states that have not legalized marijuana, which goes to show you that in states that have legalized marijuana, there still is a wide variety of people out there that are using these type of Delta-8 products. For those of you that out there don't realize, Delta-8 is just the cousin of Delta-9. And what it is, it's about half the potency of what Delta-9 would be. So if you were, a 10 milligram Delta-9 first thing in the morning, you would probably be about 20 milligrams of Delta-8 THC, because Delta-8, like I said, is the little cousin of Delta-9. It's one molecule different. It has about 50% potency of what Delta-9 does. And a lot of people have gravitated over towards that industry right there, because there are states out there that don't legalize marijuana. And in states that have legalized marijuana, there is still options out there for those folks. Those folks are still gravitating towards those lesser THC and those lesser cannabinoid type products in the States. I mean, the hemp space is a much bigger space economically than the cannabis space is all the way around. I mean, we fall just behind craft beer. And personally, I think we probably make more money than craft beer all the way around. But having said that, we're going to flip over here to an article over here at Marijuana Moment. This article just came out probably about 20 minutes ago. This is by Ben Adlin, and we're going to take a look at it and see what it says. It's a search interest for Delta-8 THC nearly twice as high in states without legal marijuana. But like I said, I wanted to point out there it's twice as high in states without legal marijuana, which means there still is a large number of people that are searching for Delta-8 in states that have legalized marijuana. So those states out there that have legalized marijuana, you will, as I've said many times on this channel, what you will find is as those states start to legalize recreational marijuana, they want to come right behind it and regulate these Delta-8 THC products, because the marijuana distributors do not want you getting any type of relief from anybody but them. But there is, in my opinion, a place for these Delta-8 products in the industry. We just have to figure out a happy medium between the cannabis guys and us, or come to some sort of agreement where we can get to a point where we can just legalize the whole plant. It says a study finds that internet search interest in Delta-8 THC, a federally unregulated cannabinoid that is commonly synthesized or derived from hemp, is significantly higher in states where marijuana itself remains criminalized. And for you guys that don't understand why they say it's commonly synthesized, is because Delta-8 is found in such minute amounts in the hemp plant that they have to extract it. And it's not cost effective for them to extract that minor amount of Delta-8 out of a hemp plant and have all of that waste left over. So what they're doing is they are extracting the full spectrum CBD out of the hemp plant and then converting that over to Delta-8 THC in a lab. And that is where the argument comes for the synthesization of these products. Looking at online search data available through Google Trends, CBD Nationwide, which calls itself the largest cannabidiol manufacturer in the U.S., found that searches for Delta-8 THC were 1.9 times higher in states where adult use cannabis is illegal, indicating a significant pivot toward alternative cannabinoids due to cannabis bans. Cannabis prohibition clearly doesn't work, the company's CEO, Katie DeVoe, said in a brief statement about the findings. Delta-8 THC has been especially popular in states where marijuana remains illegal, in part because it's widely accessible online, as well as at retailers like convenience stores, gas stations, and smoke shops. The cannabinoid is typically obtained from hemp, which is federally legal, or produced synthetically from this crop's other components, which is the full spectrum CBD, like we talked about before. The differing interest in Delta-8 THC between the states with different marijuana policies was statistically significant, the company said, with a p-value of approximately 0.0000655, meaning it's extremely unlikely that the disparity in search data between legal and illegal cannabis states were due to random chance. Let's see. The heightened search interest in states where recreational cannabis is illegal suggests a pivot towards these alternative substances, a study says. This behavior may reflect a pursuit for legal avenues to achieve similar effects to those of traditional marijuana. Previous research has shown that has shown a huge surge in interest in these substances, said CBD Nationwide, with an 850% increase in Google searches in 2021 alone. A federally funded study published by the American Medical Association last year found that states where marijuana is prohibited may unintentionally promote Delta-8 products, a dynamic likely exacerbated by the increased availability of Delta-8 THC and other cannabinoids following the federal legalization of hemp and its derivatives under the 2018 Farm Bill. Meanwhile, results of the new CBD Nationwide survey show that interest in Delta-9 THC, the primary psychoactive component in marijuana, is also higher in illegal states, although a somewhat lesser degree. States without legal cannabis showed 1.27 times more search activity for Delta-9 THC compared to states where the cannabinoid is legal and regulated, the analysis found. Search data showed that even in states where marijuana itself is legal, interest in Delta-8 THC still continued. I'm glad they pointed that out in this article. Let's see. This trend is not just a reflection of a desire to circumvent the law, CBD Nationwide report said. Even in states with legalized recreational cannabis, there is a significant interest in Delta-8 THC, indicating a nuanced consumer market with varied preferences and needs. The analysis used analysis of variance and Tukey's honestly significant difference test to confirm the significance of the findings, the company said. I don't understand exactly what they just said right there, guys. I apologize. Importantly, the study did not attempt to determine the context of searches, meaning it's not clear people in legal states were necessarily seeking out products containing either cannabinoid or if they were researching current laws, scientific findings, or something else. There are mixed perspectives about how to address emerging cannabinoids among lawmakers, advocates, and industry stakeholders. Some states have moved to ban, restrict their sale. For example, others are pushing for revised federal rules to regulate intoxicating cannabinoids separately from CBD. State marijuana regulators have urged Congress to ensure that they're examining policies for the broader class of emerging cannabinoids, not just CBD. The expectation is that the congressional lawmakers will take up the issue during negotiations over the next farm bill, consideration of which has been delayed after the current legalization was temporarily extended. Like the last farm bill was supposed to be in 2023. I believe it was supposed to be dead in September. They could not get to it, could not figure it out, because what you guys have to realize is the majority of the farm bill, man, there's like 2,000-3,000 pages of the farm bill. This portion of the farm bill that we're worried about is like less than 1 or 2 pages of it right now. The majority of the farm bill is SNAP benefits and stuff like that, and farm subsidies for farmers. They have pushed that off until sometime, I believe, around September of this year. So we have an extension on the 2023 Farm Bill that we don't currently have. We have an extension on the 2018 Farm Bill, and we don't currently have the 2023 Farm Bill. But there is a lot of lobbyists up there that are trying to decide the fate of which way the Farm Bill is going to go. The Drug Enforcement Administration has said that it considers cannabinoids illegal if they are synthetically produced, a common practice for Delta-8 THC, but the market for such products has flourished nonetheless with limited enforcement. The Food and Drug Administration, which has faced criticism for declining to enact CBD regulations, has only lightly addressed emerging cannabinoid issues. For example, the agency has sent warning letters to various companies that they say are unlawfully selling copycat Delta-8 THC products that are misleadingly packaged to mimic popular brands like Doritos, Cheetos, and Jolly Ranchers. Guys, that's the end of the study. I don't know why it just dropped off like that at the end. There is an argument to be said that there are a lot of these Delta-8 companies out there that are trying to follow these Doritos, Cheetos, and Jolly Ranchers type products. I've said many times before that we need to be in a position where the federal government has regulated us to a point where we're at least getting some sort of lab test and possibly get to a point where we are not packaging these for children, these Delta-8 products for children. I've said many times before, I've got still children in the house. I should be able to set a product up on the shelf right here, up on the counter, and not worry about my kids when they walk by it asking me, or even looking at it thinking that it's something that they could take. Like, there are products that have come to my house many times that my kids have actually asked me, is that an adult product? Because there are nerd strings and gummies and stuff like that that are just packaged to look very pretty for kids. And that we need to get away from that as an industry right there, because that is probably the biggest thorn in our side all the way around. We need to get to a point where we've got childproof packaging. We need to get to a point where we are packaging our products that are not appealing to kids. And then at that point, we can get to a point where we can improve, or at least convince folks that Delta-8 has a place in our industry. It has a place. There are a lot of people out there that are still doing searches or still buying Delta-8 in states that have legalized marijuana. Not everybody wants to go down to a recreational dispensary and have their name put on a list where the government can keep track of everything that you do. There are places for Delta-8 products out there in the industry. Let's just get to a point where we can, legalize the whole plant. We can probably solve this whole issue right here. But the big cannabis, they want to kill the Delta-8 through legislation all the way around. And like I said many times before, as you see these states start to legalize marijuana, the big cannabis is start to lobby and to kill or restrict these Delta-8 products on the backside, because they don't want you getting any relief from anybody but them. They don't want you to be able to go to a smoke shop and get the same type of products that you can get, or even more potent products than you can get down there at that recreational dispensary. All right, folks, whatever guy signing off, and I will talk to you guys later, man. Love it. See you.